Good afternoon. Welcome to the Small Business Support Group. It is Friday. Yes, that Friday feeling, the 10th of July. How is everybody? Are they all good? Excellent. Let's get a move on with the headlines. The quarantine rules ends for dozens of destination travelers to the UK from more than 70 places no longer have to self-isolate from today, which is excellent. Face coverings now compulsory in Scotland's shops. In a bid to suppress coronavirus, people in Scotland must now cover their faces when they enter shops. Not sure if we've got that in this country. We were just discussing it before we were going on air, which is something we'll probably be talking about in a bit. Also, the thing which we want to pick up on is thousands cancel their Gym Group memberships. The company Gym Group have lost 178,000 customers in the past 3 months. So we're going to be talking about that. We have Grant, who is here. We've got Jay, and we have Darren. There we are. Good morning, everybody.
Morning.
Morning.
Excellent. Oh, was that somebody behind you, Darren?
It was, yeah. The paper.
Morning, Matt.
Morning.
Hi.
It's live on
Can you
air.
see me?
We're live on it. Yeah, we can see you. How are you? You all right?
Hello,
She's just gone, well, who's the rest of them?
Darren. Darren, do you know her?
Right.
Not a clue, mate. Not a clue.
She just walks in the house. That's the thing. Just beautiful that was.
I
Excellent.
hope she's in your bubble.
So, who uses gyms here?
I used to.
Yeah, Jay. Okay, whatever. And so, what we, if you're gonna go back to the gym, Grant specifically, because I know you used to go there a lot. You've obviously built your gym in your conservatory, haven't you? A new gym over the past 2 months. Would you go back to your gym, or have you cancelled your membership?
So I got the message yesterday from Virgin, my gym's Virgin Active, just up the road. And we pay over £100 a month for the full family membership.
Yeah,
so it's a lot of money. Just that what they did, I thought was really good. As soon as lockdown happened, they immediately suspended the fees. Didn't ask them to. They did that as part of the course. And I had a letter yesterday from them saying that they're reopening on the 24th, I think it is. Might be the 25th.
right.
25th, I think it is. And with a list of all the measures that they are going to do in terms of they're going to restrict the amount of people that are in the gym. They're obviously going to record everybody in and out, which they do anyway. They've got like a weight zone. So if you're using dumbbells, when you put them down, you have to put them down into a different area where they get wiped down. And I think they've reorganized the layout of the gym as well. So social distancing is, appropriate. But I mean, to be honest, because we're now down to a meter social distancing, I don't think that's really an issue. The main thing is obviously there's a lot of hand, a lot of things have to hold in the gym. There's a lot of sweat and so on. So it just means everything's going to have to be wiped down after everybody goes on the machines and uses the dumbbells. So I don't think it's going to be a big issue. But you're going to get a lot of people huffing and puffing, sweating indoors. So I still think that if you've got any kind of fear or vulnerability, it's not a great place to go. No. But for myself, what we decided last night was that the Virgin Gym actually gave us the option to suspend it for an extra month until August. Right. So I chose to do that. I did it last night. They didn't make it easy, I have to say. They said, go onto the website and just ask to suspend your website. Yeah, there's nothing obvious on the website. So I just basically suspended my membership, gave the reason, and then sort of said I want to do this for the full family. The main reason I did it is because my kids and Abby, my wife, aren't going to be using it for probably the next few months. Because we've got the gym at home now. But also we're going on holiday in August, so we're not going to be here. So that was the main reason I did it. I think I'm going to keep my membership, and I am going to go back to the gym. Yeah. But I'm not sure Abby and the kids will, because they've got used to training at home now. They've all got into their routines, and it's amazing actually when you add it up. The thing that I've found about training at home is you save the whole faffing about with the commute and the showering and you save you know, I mean, it's only 10 minutes down the road to get to the gym, but that's 20 minutes there and back. And then you've got, you know, the sort of faffing about when you get there. You're going to be saving getting on for an hour of your day by not going to the gym. And given how busy we've been with work, that's actually quite a big deal for me. So, I mean, I've been a member of that gym for, you know, God, a long time, probably getting on for 15 years, something like that. And so I've got like a lifetime membership thing. So, you know, I've got like a fixed rate. So I'm probably going to keep it for me, but I don't think the rest of the family will.
It's the same thing with the offices, isn't it? Because it's that commuting bit. I mean, you've mentioned that twice now, because obviously you mentioned it for the gyms. You also mentioned it for the office as well. So it is. This
It's
is
time, isn't it?
It is
time.
It's so much
And
time.
you could be doing
wasted.
stuff.
Yeah,
You know,
so much time is wasted.
The
Go on,
thing,
Darren.
with gyms, the thing with gyms for me, and I've always been one of these hobby people. So the New Year's Eve type of gym person for about a month, and then you know, have that membership for the whole year. Is I always needed motivation. So for me to go to a gym, I always had a buddy. I always had somebody else who was interested in doing it as well. So that bit you'll lose, because you've got to be very motivated at home to go, right, I'm going to go and do my little bit of a workout. It's always good having somebody that you're sort of peering against. So, and that social element. I know other people that do it social. It's not so totally social, is it? Because you're running on a treadmill, you can't have a chat. But nevertheless, you sort of see people, you have that interaction. So I know where you're coming from, Grant. But what I did remember seeing, I haven't looked this up, but I did remember seeing a couple of months back, a couple of the gyms where they're opening up, they're sort of doing a collaboration where you can go to any gym. So if you've got a gym membership at, I don't know, David Lloyd, you can go to, you must be at Virgin or whatever, you can go to another. I think that's a great idea where your membership crosses different gyms, because it might just make it a little bit more interesting and something you're more likely to buy. But yeah, it is hard. And I do agree that home thing for me, I've worked from home now for 20 years. And when I go in the office, I do less than what I do at home. And don't say that can't be possible.
I think it'd be interesting to think about the business model for gyms, because you know, I've got mates that run gyms, and you've always got the hardcore people that are going to go to the gym. There's no question. I know I've got mates who just cannot wait for the gym to open. They'll be straight in there, and it will be, you know, they'll be chuffed to bits. But then the business model for gyms is that they have loads of people, probably a bit like you've done, Darren, that sign up at the beginning of the year with best intentions, then never use it. If everybody that was a member of a gym used it, then they wouldn't have the capacity. They'd be, you know, inundated with people. So it makes you wonder whether that business model might end up now being flawed, because the people that don't use the gym will be, but have always historically paid, will be less likely to continue doing that.
Yeah.
Because they've got another reason not to go to the gym. And so it does make you wonder. It's another one of those industries that could be going through, you know, a seismic shift to a different way of doing things.
And the other thing
the gym group, where are they? Because I
don't know what the gym group is. I never heard of that.
No, because they must own lots of gyms, because I mean there's 178,000 customers that have
presumably. It's probably a brand that we've heard of, but that they come under the umbrella of the gym group.
Because that's a lot of customers to lose. I mean, especially, you know, Virgin were clever and said pause it, but did they not pause it? You know, I don't know all the details on it, but that seems to be a lot of customers to lose, especially at X amount. What is it, about £40, £45 a month? Is it for an individual gym
and
member?
The rest? I mean, I pay £40 a month, and that was the deal that I got fixed from 15 years ago.
Wow.
So I think if I join now, it'd be like £65 plus. But I can see that coming down massively as all these mass exodus of people.
The thing is, the equipment's cheaper now, though, as well, both in the gym and at home. And it's harder for the gyms, I think, to have that specialist equipment, isn't it? I remember I've had so many things that I've hung my clothes on in the past. You know, I've had the treadmills, which cost me. I've spent £1,000 on a treadmill in the house. And I used it for a while. It was good fun. And then it became a fantastic coat hanger. And then I've had elliptical trainers. But I saw on one of the bargain sites, I think it might have been on Marketplace, a treadmill, and what looked like a good treadmill with incline and whatever else, £35. They've become the new piano of the home, that people just want to get this massive thing for whatever. So it is hard, because if you do want to set up a gym at home, it's cheap to do so, and it's hard to have that draw.
I'll tell you what, mate, it hasn't been over lockdown. The price of gym equipment went through the roof.
Did it?
Oh, you couldn't get it. It was sold out everywhere.
Same as music.
I ended up paying through the nose for the kit I've got.
You couldn't get weights. You couldn't get
anything. Couldn't get benches. Couldn't get weights.
Right.
I ended up meeting some bloke in a car park to get my gym kit. My bench, and it cost me 150 quid, and it normally would have been less than 100.
Yeah.
And then getting all the weights actual throughout lockdown, buying weights that you stick on barbells and stuff. They've been going for sort of £2 or £3 per kilogram, as in pound sterling per kilogram.
Yeah.
So I spent another 100 quid on weights.
Wow.
And it's been really hard. Everything Argos, which is your go-to place for your gym equipment, sold out. Still is now. Can't get anything.
No, that was the same with the music industry. I was setting up a small studio for somebody, and I was just trying to get some small monitor speakers and an interface and a mic like what you guys have got. You couldn't get them from anywhere. Everybody decided to take up music and set up some sort of home studio, and I think that's what everyone's done. They've either got a home pub, a home gym, they're now all or pianists.
And a home paddling pool as well. Obviously,
and a pool, of course. Yeah, I say paddling, but yes.
Well, not yet. The swimming pool that you have, the inflatable swimming pool that you have down in your.
It's not inflatable. Mine's huge.
So, Jay, over lockdown, because you've sat there very quietly, not mentioning about the gym. So
today, observation mode.
Oh, yeah, okay, fair enough. Did you buy anything which you thought you want to start during lockdown, other than?
Well, I mean, just going back to the gym thing. I mean, Grant mentioned that your family membership was 100 quid. I think that's actually very reasonable, because
I don't
know if there's a difference between London rates and northern rates, but a typical gym membership in London would be between 60 to 100 quid for an individual.
Right.
I've got this historical deal though, Jay. That's why I was reluctant to cancel it. It's about 120 quid I pay, and that's for me, my wife, and one child. But my son's an adult now as well, so it's actually 3 adults and a
That's
child.
Really good. Yeah.
It's been fixed like that for years, and that's why I'm reluctant to cancel, because if I cancel and then rejoin, I know it's going to be a lot more.
Rates. Yeah, because I've had a gym membership for years, and I cancelled it. Well, actually, just pre-lockdown, because I wasn't using it. But the only reason why I had it was because I have a vitality policy, and I'm sure a lot of people have got vitality policies where they get 50% discount, and that was the only incentive that I had to join the gym. So I had that for years. Well, me and my wife had that for years, just because it was a discounted policy, because it was about an 80 quid a month membership, which we got for 40 or 45 quid. So we were using that. And to be honest, my only motivation to go to the gym was just to have a dip in the pool and the steam room.
And you know what? You're dead right there, Jay, because yesterday the first thing I did was thought, right, what's the policy on the steam room? Because I haven't missed the gym that much, but I have missed the steam room. But I couldn't find anything about whether it's going to be open. I doubt it will be.
Well, I don't know. It's hot. I would imagine that it's
It'll be all right.
It'll be the best place. Everybody would jump into the steam room after to kill off the bacteria.
Absolutely. In fact, I would imagine the gyms are better places than they were before, because it'd be nice for people to wipe down after they've used whatever they've used.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
And that is very true. Just going on with the other bits of pieces of news that have come out today, that obviously, and I asked this to Grant before we started, was the face coverings are now compulsory in Scotland shops. How can we keep getting, from different countries which are only 100 miles apart or so from the northern England? How can we keep getting different regulations or recommendations? If we need a face covering in a shop, shouldn't we have it in England? What's everybody's feelings on this? I feel it's just insane that they're not together.
Definitely clarity there, because I'm frustrated by that whole thing, to be honest. I think that I think for Andy's strange straw mechanism and all the faults of that, I think there's absolutely good reason. And what would get us all out more if there was face coverings? I go out, even now, going up to Sainsbury's, I'm probably the only person to walk around, and you do feel a spare part. You're walking around with a face covering on, and it is still a little bit, am I a bit of an idiot here or not? And I think if it was more clear that people had to, and there's no doubt about it, if you're in public places, why not stick a face covering on and try and reduce it even more, regardless of what we all think about how spreadable it is and everything else. That's just a little bit of common sense. When we're in public places, when we're close, because I've stood there in Sainsbury's the 2 times I've been in there, and both times there's been someone decided to stack the shelf behind me. And why not? If that person had a face covering on and I had, we're both doing something responsible for each other. I find that frustrating that we have this different law for somewhere that's within 50 miles of each other, going over a border. It's mental.
No, it's just really weird. I know we've touched on face coverings loads of times over the past 3 or 4 months, but it's I still can't get my head around that the governments are just so separated and think up their own things, even though they're supposed to be guided by the science, as they keep saying. Is the science different in each country? I don't understand that.
I think it is, Matt. Scientists can't agree either. I mean, I've seen debates. Equally qualified scientists, stroke doctors, argue for and against face coverings. And so what hope have the politicians got if the scientists can't agree? Now, I can understand the principle of the face coverings, but there's also an argument to say that it lowers your immune system. It gives you respiratory problems anyway if you've got the face coverings on. I've heard doctors say that. Whereas it does seem to... I've heard doctors say, look, face coverings don't make any difference because if the virus is transmitted through the air, face covering is not going to make any difference. This is just what the scientists have said when they're arguing against face coverings.
Yeah.
It seems to make sense that a face covering would stop you from, spreading it. But what do we know? I just think we're all guessing, aren't we?
Yeah, I think stop and reduce is the word. I agree. I don't think it's going to stop, but I think that there can't be any argument to say that it wouldn't reduce it significantly. And I think that's the difference for me. Is that if it
maybe they want to keep us indoors. Maybe that's what it is.
Oh, don't start that. No. And then flat earthers. Yeah.
See, I think that this is the thing that's affected regarding the face mask, because that leads on to the other headline that's been out today, that 2 in 10 of people in England, Scotland and Wales are nervous about going out into restaurants. And with this thing that the government placed the other day regarding go out to help out and you get the discounts on eating out, I think they're going to be struggling with it because I don't think anybody wants to go out. I know it's going to try and encourage people, but it's only in August. And I think people, the pubs, yes, they were busy at the weekend, but the reports that are coming back, and Grant has backed this up, they're just not as busy as they were. And I think people are still scared to go out. And I think this whole, I think if you put a mask on indoors, that's great. But then how do you do it in a restaurant? You got the straw situation with Andy in a pub, but it's a bit weird because I don't think we can. There's no guidelines yet again, and I thought we're sort of coming out of this that's helping out the consumer.
Yeah, there's a pub on the beach. It's opening. I think it's opening this weekend, and they've done a bit of a video blog where they've said anybody coming into our pub. There's a one-way system again. It's all very clinical. Loads of yellow tape everywhere. That I wish I'd invested in yellow tape making machines. And they come in, but they've told their customers that they must wear a mask coming into the building. They must wear a mask in communal areas, i.e. toilets, and they must wear a mask exiting. But when they sit at their table, they can remove their mask, which is the first I've seen a pub do that. And it makes sense. And it makes sense to add that sort of clarity. But again, for people who aren't on their Facebook page, they're going to attempt to book in that pub, but then maybe because they've got to book, they'll be told that when they book. I don't know, but yeah, it is very, very confusing stuff, isn't it?
I mean, I went to went to Costco again yesterday, so yeah, hey, great me, and didn't have a mask on, but I went to get a drink from the actual restaurants that they have inside there. it was the most confusing yellow tape on the floor I have ever seen. Literally, there was 5 of us stood there, and we thought, well, which way do you enter? There's a gap. There's an arrow system. There's 2 meters. There's a 1 meter strip because they hadn't took the 2 meter strip down. And he's like, literally, everybody went. They were just shugging at each other, going, "You go first." I don't know. It was. I think the yellow tape thing is getting a little bit over the top. I mean, there's arrows. You've seen the joke pictures that are going out with the arrows just everywhere in a pub. It's getting to that point. It is really getting like that. Right, we're just going to move on to stamp duty, which was obviously talked about again on Wednesday, but we didn't get time to cover it yesterday because this has inspired Grant to possibly move because he was considering it, and then the stamp duty came out. And the reduction in that, and now you're considering moving on the back of that, aren't you, Grant?
Yeah, well, it just seems like an opportunity, doesn't it? We were sort of in the throes of moving in February. We'd been to look at a couple of houses, we'd got the mortgage underway, and we were had the house valued. We hadn't quite put it on the market, but we'd got everything going, and then as things started to, come forward with the COVID situation, we just put it all on the back burner, as I'm sure loads of people did. Although, having actually spoke to Tracy the other day, the solicitor, she's been doing a lot of people have been moving out throughout lockdown. God knows how they've been doing that. So when they announced this about the stamp duty, I just thought, well, do you know what? This is never going to happen again, is it? And stamp duty in the UK is the tax that you pay on the house. When you buy a house, you add a percentage based on the value of the house, and you pay that to the government, and it's a significant amount of money. And so in my instance, the house that I'm in at the moment, I think it's going to make it more saleable because it falls just under the threshold, or just bang on the threshold of the stamp duty. Yeah. Which means that people won't pay stamp duty. So I'm pretty confident that should mean that our house will move pretty quickly, I would have thought. And then, obviously with the house that we would buy, we're going to save a significant amount of money because although we will pay a bit of stamp duty, it's a lot less than we would do normally. So yeah, I'm going for it. So I booked the estate agent this morning. We're going on the market next week. I've put my interest into a house that we've seen that we like the look of. And I'm going to move forward with it. So I'll keep you tuned on how that process goes. But I would like to think that I'm not the only one. I mean, I tell you what, we went for a walk last night. So we walked around our local village and went to have a look in some of the estate agent windows. And this was probably about 8 o'clock last night. And the estate agents were still working, some of them. So wow. I reckon they've had a lot of people in the same boat as us. So it'd be nice to think that the housing market does get a bit of a boost as a result of this. But
the only problem we've got is that obviously with everybody coming out of furlough, there's still that uncertainty, isn't there, if they're going to have a job after that, and that could scupper the plans. But I mean, it's nice to have that in this situation there, ready to go for when people do want to move, and if they were planning to move before COVID.
Well, it's up until March, isn't it? The UK do this, so I mean, who knows what's going to happen? We're about to go into a big recession. It might be a big mistake from my point of view because I might end up buying a house that's worth significantly less in a year's time. The housing market could take a massive dive.
He won't crash like that around here.
No. I'm actually, the house I'm looking at is literally just, I mean, Matt and I live about a mile away from each other at the moment. I don't want to live anywhere else than where I am. I just want a slightly bigger house. That's all. I absolutely love it where we are. So I'm moving a little bit close to Matt, obviously because we're best buds, and I just feel I need to be closer to him.
At least you can get to the pub quicker. That's
well, do you know what, mate? The drum round the corner. It's literally I could fall out the door into the drum from this place.
I think I know which house it is now.
That's got no bearing on it. I promise.
No, that was no. That I didn't think that when I bought this house either. It was had a plan about where the pub is. I know people do. There's some friends of ours who bought a house specifically in this area because they could walk to the pub. That was their main thing.
I said to Abby last night, I said, it's probably not a big deal for me right now. But if in 20 years' time when we're just about paying off the mortgage, and I'm retiring, that probably will be a really big deal to be able to just walk to the pub in 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Well, those Monday meetings are important. I mean, when was the last time anybody moved? I mean, I'm 13, something like 13 years ago. I moved.
15 years I've been in this house.
15 years.
15 years, yeah.
How long you-
I moved when we moved down to Cornwall 17 years ago, and we moved, funny enough, to a village which was very scenic, beautiful views over the moor, big barn conversion, so all very nice, but no pub in the village, and my father-in-law never let me forget that. And it was what a massive mistake. No pub, it's just ridiculous. So we moved to Bude because we was about 6 or 7 miles outside of Bude. So we moved into Bude town 5 years ago, and I have to say, moving is by far the most stressful thing I've ever done 4 times, and why I will never do it again. I'm staying here regardless, unless I make a fortune and someone does everything for me. So
there is that. Jay, when was the last time you moved?
I think it's coming up to 14 years for me. Yeah, I mean,
we're all about the same, then, aren't we?
Yeah, it's about the same, aren't we? That's
I wouldn't furlough was a good time. Sorry, Joe.
No, I was just saying. So I live in the border of Essex and East London. So I'm going to get the best of both worlds. Close links to the city, but also, we've got the, kind of the Essex countryside on our doorstep. But following all this, all the issues with COVID, there's been a max exodus of people leaving London, moving up north or moving out to the country, just to get away from the city. And obviously, you can get a hell of a lot more for our money. So it's something I might consider in the near future. You never know. I mean, where you are, it sounds nice. I might come up there as well.
Well, we love it.
I mean, it is the best. I mean, I don't make great financial moves, but I was advised because we lived in this area for, I think it's 21 years now. We're just around the corner, and I had a financial advisor at the moment, and he told me to buy this house. He said it doesn't matter. You've got to push yourself as much as you can because you need to buy this house. And my God, it was the best purchase I've ever made, because the house prices just from that point just went up hugely. And then they've just, even for all the problems that we've had over the past few years, the house prices in this area in Dulwich and Knowle, because Grant's in Knowle at the moment, they've always just kept creeping up. It's never really crashed. I think it's mainly because we have, a major train station which goes straight down to London here, which is important. So we get a lot of middle management in this area. But again, that furlough situation, is that going to affect anybody? But sometimes you've just got to bite the bullet and do it, and it is important. That's what
a lot of people are probably moved in furlough because they've got a lot of spare time on their hands to do all the packing and whatever else. What an ideal time to move, to be fair, if you're not your job.
That's true. They were talking yesterday about people who the furlough winners, who've obviously they've been furloughed from their one job, but they've got other jobs on the side which they work for themselves, and they've continued with that, and they've actually profited out of this whole situation. Which is it's not a bad thing to talk about, because if you can do great. So there's a lot of people who are coming out of this who are actually better off. Before, they've took the mortgage holiday, they've done this, they've done that, they've done all the things, and they've come out better than going in, which is great, and it's a positive thing to come out of. But no, we'll look forward. We'll welcome you with open arms, Grant, when you come around the corner.
Into Dorridge. Well, we'll see how it goes. It's there's a lot of faff, isn't it? I'll tell you one thing I'll say about moving though, and we did this the last time we moved is. We had movers, so basically we had somebody come in and they just packed for us. We didn't have to do anything. You basically leave the house and they do everything for you. So they pack it all away and then they unpack it all. You don't have to take the stress out of moving.
Oh yeah,
twice. I'll never do it anymore. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
I couldn't move because my loft is just
just leave it up there, mate.
I mean, there's everything. There's just. Everything of my entire life is up there. I mean, my garage is full of obviously Christmas and Halloween equipment and all my audio equipment as well. That's the garage sorted. But I can't even think about moving. It'd have to be a year plan just to get stuff that. It's just ridiculous.
You say that, mate. I did exactly that. I left a sunbed in my first loft.
Okay, all right, I can understand. How do you get the sunbed into the loft?
I don't know. It won't come back down.
That's a weird thing
I
to
just
do.
love to see their faces when they discovered it.
Hope you wiped it down before you left it. So that's it for today. What we do in the weekend, Darren? What are you up to?
We've got family coming down for the first time, so we're seeing mum and dad, which is just awesome. So yeah, just tidying rounds. It's sunny. We're gonna have a barbecue. Hopefully, getting that chuffing pool because it's been cold. But yeah, just a bit of family time.
Is that pool heated?
No, it's cold.
No.
No.
Okay, let me tell you a quick story just before we move on. I had a few years back, I bought like one of those pools that you've got there, and it came with a heating pump, and I plugged it in. This was over the summer. I run it for the window and plugged it into a socket and just left it going like for weeks. And there was always a strange smell. We think, what's that smell? You know, what is that smell in that room? And we couldn't figure it out. Anyway, we realized the plug and socket had melted together because it was a 6 kilowatt pump and heater that was designed to plug into a 13 amp socket, but maybe not continually for 2 weeks. So that's a bit of consumer advice there.
I understand how you make that mistake, not having an electrical background of any description or whatsoever.
No, I know. You know, it's what I went to college for, and it was I just couldn't. But now, surprisingly, I can pick up on an electric smell burning straight away. Not a problem. It was just horrendous. Jay, what are you doing for the weekend?
I don't know. I might have to, either go out. Well, I thought about having a barbecue, but I don't know whether the way it is, if it doesn't improve, then I might just go out and
it's going to get better.
Cheeky Nando's.
Okay, yeah, Cheeky Nando's, lovely. That's what we can really get behind that. Grant, what are you up to? Working?
Well, I've got to get the house sorted. We're having the photographs taken on Tuesday, so I'm doing the garden, tidying up. Oh, she'll probably make me do a bit of decorating as well.
Ooh, no.
Oh, God.
That is not good. But anyway, you get through it. Just, power through it. So yeah, we've got obviously all our B93 house parties finished last week because all the pubs opened, but we are still continuing with the house party on a Friday night, so I'll be doing that, but it's live on Flashback Radio and the new app. Very happy with the app. It was just the app at the moment. Yeah, we've still got an issue with the Google one. What a palaver them companies are. Whoa, just ridiculous. But anyway, so we're doing that tonight. And the weekend I have got left open and completely free. So I'm just going to decide what I want to do tomorrow. What a great time. Anyway, that is it. We will see you on Monday at midday. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Good weekend. See you all.
Yeah, how you